What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another absolute banger of a tactic. Today is probably one of the more unique tactics that I've ever done, just because of how, creative I had to be with the roles to get this tactic to mimic as closely to reality as how Inzaghi and Inter Milan play, as this is a Inzaghi-inspired tactic. Now, it took me some time, but I eventually got there and created what is an absolute beast of a tactic system. So, how did Inter Milan do throughout testing? Well, they won the treble a whole bunch of times throughout testing. This was one of the better ones, where they ended up winning the league on 94 points, only losing 2 matches. They also won the Coppa Italia, as well as the Super Cup. Now, one of the key things that I had to try and focus on with this tactic is based upon how the back three play, because this is a 3-5-2 tactic, and the back three interchange with the midfield three. So essentially what happens in reality is that this back three of the 2 wide center backs, as well as a center back that essentially acts like a libero, they will go further up, and then the midfield three will drop down. However, it is very, very difficult to mimic that within FM, so I had to kind of come up with some ideas on the fly to still make it to where that back three can fly up and become part of that midfield or even the attack, while also kind of implementing another aspect of it, which is when these 3 go up, usually they're more so like here, because DeMarco, he comes inside and plays like this, and then you have a wingback coming up playing with some width out wide, and then the complete forward is there because they move into channels, can run from position, so it kind of plays a little bit something like this in reality a majority of the time when they are building up, although the wingback will kind of be around here and it'll be a little bit more spread out like so, to where it kind of lines up like that. However, being that in FM I can't get the midfield and the back three to really interchange, I had to improvise. So this is kind of what I came up with. So in order to get DeMarco to kind of invert, I have him coming in to replace the Mezzala, and the Mezzala is going to supply some of that width. The wingback is still going to be coming up as well. And then we have the complete forward able to kind of operate in the same area that he does in reality. But with the wide center backs and liberos, they still tend to move up the pitch however they want. So the ball winner kind of becomes like our focal point. And thankfully, due to it being Nicolo Barella, he has pretty good playmaking ability. So it's like having a ball winning deep line playmaker, essentially, is how his role kind of operates. But this tactic creates pure chaos. And the reason it can create pure chaos is because you might have an attacking build-up that looks like this, where essentially where your defenders would usually be, that's your inverted wingback, central midfielder, ball-winning midfielder, and then where your midfielders usually would be, that is actually your back line, that back three up there, the Mezzala supplying the width. However, I have seen one of the wide center backs go out, and then they end up playing like a wingback actually, and they can get some goals, also can be pretty creative assist-wise, and those wide center backs are very, very fun to utilize, as well as the libero and support. Haven't really played around with the libero and support a whole lot this year, but in this tactic, the libero was very, very fun to watch and utilize. Now, with the inverted wingback, central midfielder, ball-winning midfielder, they are going to kind of be the focal point of helping you progress the ball up the pitch. They'll obviously look to move the ball off to the Mezzala, to the strikers, wingback, wide center backs, and libero, but these 3 are going to be pretty important, so you're going to want to make sure that the 3 players within those roles, the inverted wingback, the ball-winning midfielder, and the central midfielder, make sure that they all have pretty decent playmaking ability within their attributes. And really quickly before we get into the tactic side of things within FM, there's a highlight that I kind of want to help showcase how these wide center backs, liberos, and everything is going to kind of shape up leading to a goal. Alright, so in this highlight that you're about to see, De Vrij is one of those wide center backs, as is Jan Bisek. The libero is Bastoni. He's actually going to be the one scoring on this highlight. But right here is Mr. Nicolo Barella. So you can kind of see that they are swapping duties. Barella would be that central defender that kind of hangs back a little bit, and then Bastoni, the libero, is going a little bit further into midfield, which you're about to see how this plays out right now. So De Vrij is going to find Bastoni, who's going to end up going on a run, actually, and then bangs it from there. So within this system, as you can see, with that libero kind of pushing up and taking everyone on its own, it's a very fluid system, and everyone can kind of interchange with everyone, which is super nice. So you have a very flexible tactic with this Inzaghi type system. I wish I could have gotten all the roles to act exactly how they do in reality. However, it's very hard to do that with the system that he implements. But with what we ended up with, I am super, super happy with how it performs. Now, really quickly, before we get into the tactic itself, if you wish to give this tactic a go, I'll be linking down below in the description my Discord. That's where you're going to be able to download the tactic from, within the download section of my Discord. Now, in recent tactic videos, the previous two that have been released here on the channel, I have mentioned that I am going to be moving the tactics into the members portion of my Discord. However, I have decided to change that for the time being, so it's all still going to be available within the download section of the Discord moving forward for the time being. However, if you wish to have early access, and I mean like multiple days in advance, for the tactics along with any videos that are out on the channel, I'll be linking my members link down below in the description if you would like to become a Gormy YouTube member. But now with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the tactic. Alright, so the tactical name file that you're going to be looking for is Gormy's 352 Inzaghi Madness. We've got an advanced forward on attack with a complete forward on attack, a Mezzala on support, central midfielder on support, ball-winning midfielder on support, inverted wingback on support, wingback on attack, 2 wide center backs on support, a libero on support, and a sweep keeper on support. There is not a single defensive role within this tactic, and that is kind of what helps it be so fluid, so interchangeable, so versatile. Now, for those of you that may not have Discord or are playing FM on console, please feel free to copy over all of the instructions and player roles that I'm about to go through. With the advanced forward on attack, they were left as is. The complete forward on attack, I put shoot more often. The Mezzala on support has take more risks, crosses aimed at center, dribble more, and tackle harder. The central midfielder on support has take more risks, crosses aimed at center, dribble more, roam from position, move into channels, and tackle harder. The ball-winning midfielder on support has dribble more. Inverted wingback on support has tackle harder and dribble more. Wingback on attack has crosses aimed at center, dribble more, and tackle harder. Both wide center backs on support have take more risks, crosses aimed at center, dribble more, and tackle harder. That libero on support has take more risks, dribble more, tackle harder. And the sweep keeper on support was left as is. When it comes to mentality, I have it with a positive mentality. You can go balanced or attacking as well. I would suggest going balanced before even trying attacking, because this is a very attacking style, fluid style, aggressive style to play. So by going attacking, that'll kind of be that last-ditch effort to try and get a draw or even get a win. But now, when we are in possession, we have fairly narrow attacking width. We focus play through the middle and play out from the defense. We work the ball into the box and use low crosses in the final third with slightly shorter passing directness as well as slightly higher tempo. When in transition, we counter press and counter, distribute quickly to the center backs by rolling the ball out. And once out of possession, we have a high press line of engagement, higher defensive line, more often trigger press. Now, when it comes to the level of ability needed to play this sort of style, you definitely need to be a mid-table to one of the more elite sides within your leagues and within the world of football, because this is, like I've said, very fluid, very versatile, and you need to make sure that you have the perfect players to kind of play a system like this. However, if you're wanting to play a very fun system that is very unique, very different from what a majority of people tend to play, especially with a 3 in the back, this is definitely that tactic to go and give a try. And when it comes to changing some of these roles, there aren't many that I would consider changing because it would kind of change how this system is meant to be played. However, if you want to have a few roles that would be on the defensive duty, those roles that you would end up changing is the ball-winning midfielder right here or the back 3. You would then, instead of having all 3 on support, maybe put at least 2 to maybe all 3 on defense, which if you do choose to put 2 of them on defense, it is most likely going to be the wide center backs. I wouldn't do one wide center back and then a libero. I would probably have it be both wide center backs in that scenario, if that is something you wish to do. Alrighty, so there we have it for today's tactic. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you want to give this tactic a go, once again, I'll be linking my Discord down below in the description. That's where you're going to be able to download the tactic from within the download section of the Discord. And if you happen to enjoy today's video, please feel free. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so when I hit that sub button, right now I'll be popping up on screen one of my most recent tactics, which was me recreating Hansi Flick's Barcelona tactic, which is an absolute banger as well. So make sure to check that out. But until next time, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.